It is possible. See, if we cannot meditate, because that's a very subtle, abstract spiritual practice, we can read. We cannot read, we can write. If still we can sit and listen. Still, if we can't do that, we can do some karma yoga or any kind of activity, selfless activity. All this will be helpful. The Gita, if you read, try to read this verse. The 12th chapter, it's called Bhakti Yoga. There are 4 levels of spiritual practice, devotional practice mentioned. From 8th verse to 11th verse. 8th, 9th, 10th and 11th. So in a descending order, Lord Krishna gives 4 alternate steps. In the 8th verse, the verse means this. Say, try to keep your mind and intellect always focused and concentrate on God. Then you will live on me and I shall live in you. But it is the highest goal. In a descending order, he gives an alternate. If you can't do that, try to remember, try to read, try to sing devotional hymns, try to somehow associate with spiritual ideas. Then again he says, if you can't do that, then for the convenience of those who are interested, the 9th verse, he says, if you can't focus your mind on God, on me, well, try to do that by constant practice. As I said, listening, reading, worshipping, all this, whatever you do, try to give a spiritual orientation to your mind by diverting all the 5 senses towards a spiritual channel. But this is also not easy. If this is also not possible, do your duty. But think within your mind, it is my work. Everyone can do. In fact, we all do that. Most devotees do that. They do that. It's God's work. Everyone can do. We may be working in the factory, we may be working in the monastery, convent, office, university, hospital, wherever it may be. It is God's work. Because that idea brings the idea of God, God's association to our mind. Slowly mind gets a spiritual orientation. Finally, in the 11th verse, the 12th chapter, Lord Krishna says, still if you can't do that, if you cannot do things thinking it's my work, God's work, then you do whatever you consider to be your duty, your responsibility, but mentally try to surrender the results of your actions and your action to God. Now, this is possible for everyone. In a descending order, the teacher of Bhagavad Gita gives 4 steps. So if I shall give you a graphic description in the ascending order. To begin with, do your duty in the office, in the factory, wherever it is. But mentally surrender its fruits to God. And if you practice this for some time, then slowly you will be able to practice. Well, whatever I am doing is God's work. Because the result of what I am doing, I am surrendering to God. So it is God's work. And this will slowly help you to remember God all the time in your mind. And then finally, slowly you find you will start living in God. And God will start living in you. Mean all constant remembrance. So, those of you who are interested can remember these 4 verses, 8th to 11th verse, in a descending order. But you can start practicing in an ascending order. From 11th verse, then 10th, then 9th, then 8th. In fact, this is what all spiritual seekers try to do. If you look at the history of spiritual practices in all religions, first they try to do well, it's God's work, and I'm offering this to you, and then it's your work. So once you associate God's name with whatever you do, slowly mind gets associated with God. And slowly you find you at the most advanced stage, the thought of God becomes a part of our nature. Spiritual thought becomes part of our nature. So it is taught in the Gita.